I'm not the guy who did it. Those guys outside, we can't stop coming. Yeah, you're gonna tell us who they are, and we'll figure out what we do after. Easy now. We're so easy, Dallas. You don't have the balls. Oh yeah, try me, Dallas. What's the problem? Go ahead. Dallas. Pull the trigger, motherfucker. I told you that this has got nothing to do with you. You fuck with my brother. You fuck with me. Stop it. Nobody's shooting anyone. Jonesy.
So, America is still an infant. People still, on a mass scale, do not critically think and have their own thoughts. You are indoctrinated according to your family's ideals. If you are like me, who come from mixed families, immigrants, and you're born here, you tend to grow up to their ideals, and you never question it.
One call, one text, take your eye off the prize, 1 second, shipment's flying south. One focus,
and
one phone, one number for when the job is done.
What I did was stepped out of my own culture. You know, because in my early, I would say early 2010s, around there, I was like on a spiritual journey and shit. And so, y'all gonna let me talk without interruption. Oh, they're trying to express some gems, and y'all, he wants to cheerlead for me, but you know, it's time. So what I'm saying, let me step over here, man, because people always want to distract my thoughts because it's original. So these people, right, who grow up like me, tend to get stuck and never stepping out of the culture. They get stuck on it. What made me want to step out was the American in me. See, cause a lot of people like me, right? They focus on the beautiful parts of the islands. They'll focus on, oh look, you could drink here, you could see the beach, you could you know, a lot of sightseeing and all that stuff. And that's appealing to people who go there on vacation for like 2 weeks, 2 months or whatever, you know. But it's another thing living there. And going through its own, you know, ideas and thoughts and penal codes every day. So communism, if it spreads, right, it's the idea that we can't have someone shine. So you're basically getting rid of religion because we're looking for that role model, that model, right, that outshines every other people and silence them. And am I getting loud? I thought, you know, sometimes I think I start off slow or low, but then I don't know, maybe I got too much bass, little volume on that shit. So what communism does, right? It gets rid of that perception or concept of where we can see certain people shine. Communism gets rid of those ideas and makes everybody equal. So by making everybody equal, you no longer have a model to see what is the best. You're getting rid of Jordan ideals, Michael Jackson. You're getting rid of Muhammad Ali. People to this day can't even beat Bruce Lee with all his principles and physique and stuff like that. To this day, you can't even see people do the shit he did. And so it gets rid of all of that, because even in hip hop, right, like now, you can't make it if you want to become an artist. You know, they already had the first and second and third stage, already set up. So for any newcomers, it doesn't matter if you got the money, or if you got talent. They're gonna make it hard for you. Just like how basketball players can't be like Jordan, because there's a standard that they limit, lock, and let go. And all this sort of like maims the future generation with the distraction of all the social media and the memes and things like that. And the whole time, people forget that there is a record to beat, a standard to surpass, because there was living legends in the past that were proofs. But if you let this communism, right, they'll get rid of those things, and people will stop trying to surpass these ideals. So I like it when I see people who got incredible, phenomenal abilities, because it makes me think like, oh shit, that stuff is possible. So all you gotta do is try to be that, or try to be better than that. But as the generations get passed through, people get lazier and dumber, though they think they're wise or intelligent or smart, And the fact of the matter is, they can't beat these legendary people that come before us. And the records and the athlete levels is shrinking, where nowadays an average Joe can be considered, professional, when you really can't even compete. You really don't got the qualifications, because it takes a superior type of discipline that this side of humanity hasn't tapped into yet. And the ones that did, like I said, no longer exist. But with everybody being the same in this shrinkage sort of state, where those ideas or concept of greatness has been removed, the ones coming up forget all of that stuff and just become normal people, dominated by the most weak individuals who might not even have 5-6 years in this country. Just became citizens and shit. You're born. You're not sure. You're more longer. Your citizens is way longer than theirs. You know. And it's governing you. It's making you less. It's making you weaker. It's making you think you're superior. When in fact you got no characters to represent that. And the ones that did exist, like I said, they're no longer in the picture. So those that we supposedly look at right now in this times, they're substandardized. They're, whitewash, a carbon copy of something real great. And, the people gotta get distracted, I get it. But when you have reminders of whitewash representing greatness, of watered down athleticism, it makes everybody, like I said, not have those things, and nobody is an anomaly, Nobody's unique. I hope I broke it down. I only get these surges sometimes when it comes, and this will probably be my last day for a while, because I'm going to go back to hermit or reticent and just focus on me, because I got a lot of things I'm doing. But like I said, it's fructitious, fruitful, and it grows. But like I said, if you let this disease come about, that which you looked to aspire to, or was inspired by, or triggered motivation to try to be like, all of that, not just in me, but let's say it could be, in basketball, boxing, people, it could be a philosopher, you know what I mean? All these great thinkers suddenly are gone, all because you let the weakest of the weak, the most pathetic punks who can't fight or fend, who doesn't strive to be nothing, who has no ability or confidence in themselves, who is not superior at all, you let that fungus or maggot dominate you who were. So, for the biblical readers, when Abraham had Isaac, he first had Ishmael with a slave woman. But the chosen was Isaac. And through Isaac come about Jacob and the tribes, which, like I said, we were really taking serious. Not like them, who were just writing and talking about it and never really let the words mature or concretize in their mind. Concretize in their mind. I like that. I don't use that word a lot. I just made it up. But it's a word. And so what it says? Let me see. Communism on talent and legacy shit. Yeah, talent. I mean, so yeah, the weakest of the weak. The weakest of the weak, is controlling the strong. This is how. See, I could get deep. This is how people were robbed of their history because of their ignorance, not knowing who they were or where they come from. And the same shit that happened to Africa is happening to America. Only it's not the white people who they say stole their history. It's the Arab people who's stealing ours. The ones that were born from mixed parents, stuck on their ideals and not yours. The reason it's not yours is because you didn't have the ability to think freely. You didn't have the ability to think independently. You were never taught that. You were never taught to critically think. You were never taught to find out who you are by yourself without the influences of your surrounding. Your surrounding became your family. Your family was those that came from there, not like you who were born here. And what happens with that mass and that millions of people that went through what I went through, most of them are still stuck on the ideals of theirs because, like I said, they never expanded. Why was I so lucky to be like that? Well, knowing thyself. Everything comes back to that. I took the time to learn and explore who was it that I was, that I am, that I is, that I be. I took the time to do that. In like my early 20s, I was fast. But even in those attempts, I was still getting persecuted and suffering with the carnage. And everything happened for a reason. I went through a lot of hurdles that helped open my eyes through experience. But at the same time, because of that, I was able to escape the chains of those that are still stuck on their ideals because they were indoctrinated since they're mostly family, family members, So, just like Joshua said, right, that he didn't come here to bring people together, but to divide them. I'm been on the same mission, trying to divide them, because that is the stumbling block that they keep repeating. And somebody gotta wake them. Because the minute they came over here and had you became something else. You were not them who came from that place. You are a byproduct of the greatest ideas. They didn't come from that. So for you, who represents the greatest ideas, are supposed to be more refined than where they come from. For you to allow the most weakest of weak dominate you, who are the most strongest and enormous thing in the world, with words like communism and Islam and things like that. It's something you should think about, you know, and it should make you feel some type of way. I think you would get angry, furious, and seek to eliminate, eradicate, extinguish, decimate, just remove, all of that from the equation. I would think that's what you have in mind, knowing where you come from. But what's going on makes me think people are really suffering from attention. And I don't really think people are smart like they say they are, or they appear to be, you know? I don't really think, I think a lot of people speak like they know what they're saying and they're smart, but the reality is they're nothing like that, you know? I think they're conning, because I don't understand, especially now with internet and social media. It's easy to broadcast your ideas or your message for everybody to gobble up. And I don't think, this is what I'm saying. People have made you so ignorant where you don't recognize that the good guys are the bad guys, and the bad guys are the good guys. You have no discernment. And instead of trying to rebuttal everything that I say, you should try to figure out how is it that you can opt out and see your center, who you are, by yourself, without the culture of what brought you up. Only the culture of where you were born, not of where they were brought up. You know, you have a blank slate. How you write is how you create and manifest. So, in order to create, you have to let go of things that don't make sense to those that are more purified. It gets stronger, man. Like I said, I got the juice. People know it. So you got the juice, man. You got the juice. It gets more potent. I guess what I'm saying. But yeah, man, I'm gonna keep it like that. I'm gonna keep it short. You know, if this was short, just showing you, I guess, what an anomaly looks like. Yeah, you heard the firework? That's a confirmation. So, yeah, man, I'm coming. And like I said, take time to figure out who you are. And while you do that, make sure you're doing it and nothing distracts you or influences you to do your next move. Let it all come from you. If you know who you are. If you know who you are, you know the one that should be influencing you is nothing. But something will influence you, and you'll think that you'll think that those are your thoughts. And those are not your thoughts. Those are the thoughts come about from generations and years of indoctrination that misled you into thinking that was the way. Yeah, nigga, bada bing, bada boom. La maravilla. Alright, that's it, man. Thanks for tuning in. That's that what it was.